Hi there guys, my name is Andrew and welcome to my very first YouTube video on the channel. I was thinking of what I could come up with for my first ever YouTube video idea, so I thought I'd start off with something very personal to me, that being Frank Ocean, and what his music and story meant to me, especially in the last few years, as he's been a massive impact on me and everything that I've done in my life. Now, I don't know if you can see, very fitting to this video, I am wearing my Frank Ocean top. I don't know if you can see this here, so I really hope that you like it, and I can't wait to get this video started. But before I tell you what Frank Ocean really means to me, let me tell you about Frank Ocean himself. So who is Frank Ocean? Frank Ocean is an American singer-songwriter, record producer and photographer from Louisiana. Born as Christopher Edwin Breaux, on his 23rd birthday he would legally attempt to change his name to Christopher Francis Ocean. This was initially declined by the state, however it was finally approved in 2015. The change to his name was reportedly inspired by the films Ocean 11, made in the 1960s. Before Frank hit the headlines as an artist, he started off as a songwriter, working different jobs in fast food restaurants, amongst other jobs. He eventually signed a songwriter's deal and began writing songs for the likes of Justin Bieber, John Legend, and Beyonce, amongst many other large names in the music industry at the time. He had been writing songs for a while before he decided to start working on his own projects because he wanted to get into the spotlight for himself. Frank then joined the hip-hop collective Odd Future, which was a revolutionary, groundbreaking group led by Frank's good friend Tyler the Creator. Because of the group, he then signed with Def Jam Records, and that's when Frank really started his career as an artist. In 2011, Frank self-released a mixtape named Nostalgia Ultra, which focused on revitalizing old songs and making them his own. The mixtape received critical acclaim, and he was already being seen by critics as a gifted R&B smoothie, and being set apart from the pack with his songwriting. This success led to his first studio album, named Channel Orange. Released in 2012, this album put Frank firmly into the spotlight, and the album was nominated for 6 Grammys. He also won the Brit Award for International Male Solo Artist. Not only was Channel Orange a defining moment for Frank's music career, it was a massive moment for Frank, who with the song Thinking About You, came out as bisexual. He released a note on Tumblr confirming this, which I'm going to read later at a point in the video, but it sent shockwaves through the industry. And from that moment, he became an LGBT icon, not just to myself, but for the millions of people listening to him every single day. After Channel Orange and his tour in 2013, Frank didn't release any of his own music for almost 4 years, and after teasing his new album was almost done in 2014, and then teases in 2015 about the new album, he finally dropped an album in summer 2016. But it wasn't what people expected. Frank dropped a visual album onto Apple Music called Endless. The rumours are that he wanted to get out of his contract with Def Jam Records, as they were too controlling. However, the next day he dropped another album, the infamous Blonde, and this was where my story with Frank Ocean really began. So my introduction to Frank was a bit hazy really. I hadn't really heard of him up until the point where Blonde had dropped, and the only reason I'd heard about him was because of people like Kanye West tweeting about the album saying how great it was, and I didn't really know what the album was. At the time when it got released, it was only available on Apple Music, and unfortunately, as I was 16 at the time, I couldn't afford Apple Music, and I had no way of getting money, so I decided just to wait, play it out, and wait for it to become available on Spotify or one of the other streaming websites. So the day came, it finally got put on Spotify, I was like sick, gonna watch it, and I listened to the album, and wait for it, I didn't like it. And you must be thinking, what, Andrew, how can you listen to something like that and not like it? But yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't get the album, I didn't get the song structure, and it really confused me. So I decided I have to listen to this a second time. I must be missing something. So I listened to it a second time. And I really started paying attention to the words and the lyrics and the songs. And then I began to like it. So I listened to it a third time, a fourth time, and a fifth time. Okay, I think you get the picture. I became obsessed with the album off the second listen, and oh my god, it was amazing. So just bear in mind, my music taste before this album was just generic chart music and like punk rock pop bands like Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy, and that was really all I listened to, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I didn't know songs could exist like the ones Frank Ocean was making. I didn't know that a song could exist without having a cool beat, without having without having a chorus, without having all these things, and Frank Ocean really opened my eyes and my mind up to a song could actually be good without having a proper structure and being a little bit abstract and being a bit out there. And it was amazing and I loved it. Because of Frank Ocean, I've been opened up to so many different types of genre music as well. For example, I love Tyler the Creator now, I love Daniel Caesar, I love Brockhampton, I like Chance the Rapper, I like Denzel Curry, I like Kanye West. And many of these people I listen to, I wouldn't have listened to if it wasn't for Frank Ocean. So that just says a lot, right? And it really had developed into an obsession at this point with Frank Ocean. And this type of music that he made and other types of music in that vein really struck a chord with me. So far, in fact, to this day, it's pretty much all I listen to every day, all the day. And it's funny because, you know, back then, most of my friends didn't like what I was listening to, and most of them still don't like it now, bar the odd couple. And it made me realise how much Frank Ocean and that sort of music is personal to me in that experience, that no one else really having the experience I was having with that music at the time, and even some points to now. And that's amazing. I also find it really funny that my favourite album ever, which is Blonde, I didn't actually like when I first heard it. Like, that's weird, right? So now that the Blonde hype train was starting to slow down ever so slightly, you know, the initial buzz that I was getting off it, like, hadn't gone, but it would definitely quieten down. I started to listen to Frank's other music, and that's when I started to listen to Channel Orange, Endless, and Nostalgia Ultra. Tracks like Novocaine, Thinking About You, Bad Religion, Wither, Pigs, all resonated with me very, very quickly, and I really enjoyed the storytelling in his music. Every word, every song felt like it was taking me on a journey, and I was just there for the ride. At this point in time, I remember I was just starting a brand new college, so things were still really new to me and I was experiencing stuff, so I had something there that was always like freshening me up, keeping me de-stressed, and it was something that was Frank Ocean's music. And at this point in time, I was still an idiot, okay? I wasn't really paying attention to the song lyrics as much as I probably should have been, and it didn't even dawn on me that he was bisexual, even though the lyrics in pretty much most of his songs are about boys, so I don't know how I didn't get that. The songs that I liked became songs that I loved. Songs like Nights, Solo, Super Rich Kids, Ivy, they were all on repeat, all on shuffle, all the time, and I loved them. I had found something that was truly special to me, and so I started looking into who Frank was as a person, and found out very quickly that obviously he was bisexual, and that struck me by surprise, somehow. And if you didn't know, I'm bisexual, and it became a difference where someone who I loved had become something who I not only loved, but inspired me, and immediately became an inspiration from the moment I found that out. At that time in my life, when I started getting introduced to Frank's music, I really didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was as a person. So the fact that, you know, seeing who he was as a person really hit home with me. I found out about his Def Jam deal and how he was using Endless to create his own freedom, and everything he did was on his own terms. From that moment onwards, he was free. So that was also really inspiring, as I always wanted to have the freedom to create and do what I want whenever I wanted. You know, a freedom I'm going to work for the rest of my life. So as you can tell, Frank was truly inspirational to me, and he changed everything for me in terms of how my perspective was on life, and it changed it to this day, and it's because of him that I can thank that. However, in life, people always have certain moments that happen, certain songs that you resonate with, and certain songs that associate with you at a time in that place. And even though I was obsessed with Frank at the time, it didn't dawn on me how much he did was actually starting to change for me, or how much he even meant to me. And at the beginning of October 2016, I started to really struggle with college work. I hated it, to be completely honest with you. It wasn't fun, I really didn't like it. And what I'd signed up for, I wasn't actually enjoying. And that became a massive problem. However, I thought, you know, this is part and parcel of the course, I've just got to keep going with it. However, in October, on the 22nd, my grandma passed away. My grandma was suffering with cancer for a long time. However, with treatment, it looked like she was finally starting to get better. However, as things looked rosy and in the clear, things took a massive turn for the worse, and unfortunately she did pass away. Now, I struggle with mental health issues, as I'm sure a lot of people do, and at the time I was struggling obviously with college, and then with mental health, and then having my grandma pass away really tipped me over the edge. I became a shut-in. I didn't want to speak to anyone. The sadness had overwhelmed me, and I didn't know what to do. This was truly a defining moment in my life, because I'd never had to deal with grief before. It was never something I'd ever really experienced, and so I hated it. And with college going on, and I couldn't keep up with the work because of everything that was going on, I quit college, and that was that for me. During a time like this, there are a lot of dark days, and there was a lot of uncertainty within my own life. But despite everything that was going on, there was always one consistent thing that kept popping up, something I could rely on to make me feel better, and that was Frank Ocean. That was Blonde. And that was Siegfried, my favourite song. And it's the song that I attached to that moment in my life. The song is like therapy to me. It's just a stripped back song, just a guitar playing, and just Frank's vocals in full force. Now obviously with YouTube copyright, I can't play the song, but here are some of the lyrics that really impacted me in a large way. I can't relate to my peers. I'd rather live outside. I'd rather chip my pride than lose my mind out here. Maybe I'm a fool. Maybe I should move and settle. 2 kids in a swimming pool. I'm not brave. And then towards the end of the song he says, I'd rather live outside. I'd rather go to jail. I've tried hell. It's a loop. What would you recommend I do? This is not my life. It's just a fond farewell to a friend. It's just a fond farewell to a friend. This is not my life. It's just a fond farewell to a friend. It's not what I'm like. It's just a fond farewell. So just like that, a fond farewell to my friend. My grandma. I miss you and I love you, and that was my grieving process, and I could start that because of Frank. So thank you. Thank you, Frank. So obviously things have to continue, things have to carry on, and since 2017, Frank actually hasn't released any new albums. He's released songs of himself, and he's also featured on many other songs. Whether it be the summer banger Slide with Calvin Harris, or whether it be the hip-hop banger Purity with A$AP Rocky, which is one of my favourite songs. I think it's great. However, of course, Frank's singles are really the highlight. In 2017, he released Chanel, he released Biking, he released Lens, and he also released Provider. The 2 songs I like the most are probably Chanel and Lens, but that's neither here nor there. But in 2017, I also had the amazing opportunity to go and see Frank Ocean live at Lovebox. This is where I got this t-shirt, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And during the performance, obviously, because I was a huge fan, I was singing every single lyric, every single word I knew from the top of my lungs. And this woman had actually turned to me and she went, "Oh my god, are you like some kind of like Frank Ocean super fan or something?" And of course, I was, obviously. I got to see my idol live, and it was truly one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I got to listen to my favourite songs and have different versions of those songs as well. I remember Self-Control, there's a whole rap he had before it, and that was incredible. But since that time, Frank hasn't released many songs, he's released a few. In 2018, we got Moon River on Valentine's Day, which was a really great song and a really fitting tribute for Valentine's Day. In 2019, we got DHL and In My Room, 2 songs that are really, really good and I enjoy in my opinion. And then, just a few days ago, we got Dear April and Cayendo, and oh my god, they are amazing. Now, obviously, it's COVID-19 right now, we're all in lockdown in the UK and in loads of places in the world, and so when Dear April and Cayendo got released, I was struck with an overwhelming amount of emotion, and it was the first time I'd ever cried because of a song. Yes, I cried because of a song. And I think that just goes to show, you know, during this emotional time, how much Frank Ocean really has resonated with me as a person. The fact that he can make me cry just through his music and the things he's done for me in terms of his, you know, what he creates and what he stands for. And he's never going to know this, but yeah, what an amazing guy. Now, let me bring you to the main reason I wanted to make this video and speak to you about what he really inspired me about. And that is being bisexual. So earlier in the video, I explained how much Frank Ocean meant to me, and also I explained that I was bisexual. The same way that Frank Ocean is also bisexual. And now, it's only until last month where I was actually open and honest about this, and I came out, essentially. I didn't make an announcement, but I just said it to an Instagram question, and that was literally how I came out. This is because I was in very weird environments growing up. I was in football college after I left the other college. I was at a workplace that was a very interesting atmosphere, but I never really felt comfortable coming out at the time. And, you know, there was loads of things that I had to overcome and beat my fears to accept. So when I found out that Frank Ocean was bisexual, it immediately piqued my interest, and I had to find out how Frank Ocean, I don't know, came out, I guess. Now, back in 2012, he released a note that accompanied the song Thinking About You. And here is the letter that he wrote. Bass God was right. We're all a bunch of golden $1 million babies. My hope is that the babies born these days will inherit less of the bullshit than we did. Anyhow, what I'm about to post is for anyone who cares to read. It was intended to fill the thank you section in my album credits, but with all the rumours going around, I figured it'd be good to clarify. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I'm starting to think we're a lot alike. Human beings spinning on blackness. All wanting to be seen, touched, heard, paid attention to. My loved ones are everything to me here. In the last year or 3, I've screamed at my creator. Screamed at clouds in the sky for some explanation. Mercy, maybe. For peace of mind to reign like manna somehow. 4 summers ago, I met someone. I was 19 years old. He was too. We spent that summer and the summer after together, every day almost. And on the days we were together, time would glide. Most of the day I'd see him and his smile, I'd hear his conversation and his silence, until it was time to sleep. Sleep I would often share with him. By the time I realised I was in love, it was malignant. It was hopeless. There was no escaping, no negotiating with the feeling, no choice. It was my first love. It changed my life. Back then my mind would wander to the women I had been with, the ones I'd cared for and thought I was in love with. I reminisced about the sentimental songs I enjoyed when I was a teenager. The ones I played when I experienced a girlfriend for the first time. I realised they were written in a language I did not yet speak. I realised too much too quickly. Imagine being thrown from a plane. I wasn't in a plane though. I was in a Nissan Maxima, the same car I packed up with bags and drove to Los Angeles in. I sat there and told my friend how I felt. I wept as the words left my mouth. I grieved for them, knowing I could never take them back for myself. He patted my back. He said kind things. He did his best, but he wouldn't admit the same. He had to go back inside soon. It was late and his girlfriend was waiting for him upstairs. He wouldn't tell the truth about his feelings for me for another 3 years. I felt like I could only imagine reciprocity for years. Now imagine being thrown from a cliff. No, I wasn't on a cliff. I was still in my car telling myself it was going to be fine and to take deep breaths. I took the breaths and carried on. I kept up a peculiar friendship with him because I couldn't imagine keeping up my life without him. I struggled to master myself and my emotions. I wasn't always successful. The dance went on. I kept the rhythm for several summers after. It's winter now. I'm typing this on a plane back to Los Angeles from New Orleans. I flew home for another marred Christmas. I have a window seat. It's December 27, 2011. By now I've written 2 albums, this being the second. I wrote to keep myself busy and sane. I wanted to create worlds that were rosier than mine. I tried to channel overwhelming emotions. I'm surprised at how far all of it has taken me. Before writing this, I told some people my story. I'm sure these people kept me alive, kept me safe. Sincerely, these are the folks I want to thank from the floor of my heart. Every one of you knows who you are. Great humans. Probably angels. I don't know what happens now, and that's alright. I don't have any secrets I need kept anymore. There's probably some small shit still, but you know what I mean. I was never alone. As much as it felt like it, as much as I still do sometimes, I never was. I don't think I ever could be. Thanks to my love. I'm grateful for you. Grateful that even though it wasn't what I hoped for, and even though it was never enough, it was. Some things never are, and we were. I won't forget you. I won't forget the summer. I remember who I was when I met you. I'll remember who you were and how we've both changed and stayed the same. I've never had more respect for my life and living than I have right now. Maybe it takes a near-death experience to feel alive. Thanks to my mother. You raised me strong. I know I'm only brave because you were first, so thank you. All of you. For everything good. I feel like a free man. And if I listen closely, I can hear the sky falling too. Frank. So that was it. So many words and so much I can resonate with. The last 2 paragraphs especially. To this day, I still don't really know what love is. I haven't really experienced love, so to speak. And that's okay. But there are certain people, like Frank, who have kept me alive and kept me safe, and also having a near-death experience to feel alive is better. Or it could be that I no longer have secrets, and that's why I value life so much more than I did maybe even last year. I feel like a free man, and just like Frank when he wrote that letter, he finally felt free, and that's exactly how I feel now. And it may have taken years, and a whole lot of experiences, and a whole lot of growing up, to get to the point where I am to no longer feel conflicted with myself and my emotions. And you know what? That's okay. Like, it genuinely is okay. And so to anyone who feels those things that I felt, or feeling things that I feel now, well done to you. And also, it's okay to not be out. It's okay to be conflicted with certain things. And eventually, and it takes time, you will find your piece of who you are. And it doesn't matter how long it takes, but you will finally find it. And all of the feelings I feel now is because of what Frank's done to me, or done for me. So thank you. And also, on more of a side note, to all my friends who have supported me from the moment I told you I was bisexual, and told you the things that have happened in my life, and to all those experiences that I've had with everyone I've dated, not necessarily in a relationship, but people I've just been with, even if it's the one-off date. Thank you to all of you, and to the one person, if they're watching this, that I spent a few months with very recently, even though it didn't work out, you made me feel comfortable with myself fully, and because of that, thank you. So to all those people, you know who you are, thank you from the bottom of my heart, it means everything to me. And from the start, Frank Ocean always made me realise that it was okay to be who I am, and even though it took time, his music changed my life. The bisexual anthem Chanel, which literally starts with "My guy pretty like a girl." I mean, it's an amazing lyric, and songs like "Wise Man," "Novocaine," "Self Control," "White Ferrari," "Cayendo," "Dear April" have already hit me. Not to forget the emotion that Siegfried, "Bad Religion," "Thinking About You," Higgs, "Wither." Those songs have given me so many experiences and so many stories in my life that I can resonate with. So thank you. As you can clearly tell, Frank has had an enormous impact on my life, one that I wish I can give to others who watch my videos and see me on socials. This video is for you. As to the future, obviously I hope Frank Ocean releases another album, especially this year with the amount of songs he's releasing, especially with how good Cayendo and Dear April have been, and also Frank, or if someone who knows Frank Ocean who is in contact with him watches this, thank you, or tell him thank you, because he genuinely has meant everything to me, even if it is inadvertently. You've been amazing. And to all those who have stuck this video out to the bitter end, who've listened and watched every single word, thank you. And I hope this gives you a better perspective of who I am as a person and what Frank Ocean means to me. It's something that I hold dear to my heart, so for me it's something I felt like I had to make, and I was always going to make at some point, so why not make it the first video I did? And hey, maybe if you listen closely, just like Frank, you'll hear the sky falling too.